What's up, guys? Welcome back to Two Sisters Unscripted. This is Megan.
And this is Caitlin.
This week we want to talk a little bit about
Them
navigating.
pills.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
just
don't get
kidding.
me started about the bills. If you guys take a breath. If you guys tuned in
Yesterday.
if you tuned in last week, I
Okay.
discussed. Look, see, Caitlin's getting ahead of herself. I discussed that my husband and I are part of Bills Mafia. We love the Bills. We were rooting for the Bills. They won last week. And then they played Kansas City. And they did not win. And it's not okay in my house right now. And that's where I'm going to leave that. That could be a whole nother topic for me.
It's rigged.
Yeah, don't get me started.
It's rigged.
Anyway,
I was rooting for them though, y'all. I was rooting for the Bills. And I'm so sorry for the dedicated Bills Mafia.
and the rest
And
of
the
America that was
players.
choosing or that was rooting for the Bills.
Yeah. It was, I don't know. Anyways, everyone has their opinions, right?
That might have to be a whole nother episode one day,
About
but not
how
today.
that.
It's
I just wanted to like rip that band-aid off because we can't just brush over. We already mentioned it last, they'd be like, oh, so y'all ain't gonna bring up what happened yesterday or Sunday, rather. Y'all ain't gonna bring up what happened Sunday. We can't go out like that. We just gotta keep it real. So,
the wounds are still there. It's too
yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, we still are part of the mafia. Go
We
Bills.
still love the Bills.
Still
Yeah.
love you. It's just going to take some time. All right. Anyway, we want to talk a little about navigating friendships. I know Caitlin is the same way as me, and we've had many friends since we were younger, but it's our circles have gotten a lot smaller. I mean, when you were in like first, second grade, everyone was your friend. Everyone's friend.
Um, I
Erin's in
don't
preschool, and the whole class is her friend.
know.
Everybody's her friend. Teacher's her friend. Um, I don't know. My circle's gotten a lot smaller over time.
Yeah.
I, well, I said this to you. What was it yesterday? We talked on the phone. I saw a saying that's like, I'm done jumping over oceans for people that want to jump over a puddle for me, and I feel like I've kind of leaned into that the last couple years, especially since like COVID and kids and
Yeah.
like I know who my circle is.
Yeah. Can you form a circle with them?
Yes, if we all stand there in a line and
Well,
make
I
a
was gonna say,
circle.
like, because before this, you're like, oh, I barely have friends, you know? So I'm like, can you actually form a circle with your friends?
Mm, okay, maybe not a square.
Okay, fair. Yeah. No, I agree. I think obviously if we consider going from like younger to like older, yeah, I think typically if you ask many people, I feel like anyone really, they'll be like, yeah, no, my circle got smaller, from just younger days. I think that's like a consistent theme because just growing up and just different goals
Yeah.
and where we kind of see ourselves, what we're doing, like where we're moving to. So that can play a big role too. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it really does. It does happen. Like people lose touch and your circles get smaller, and that's just life. And I think a lot of times there's never any. I shouldn't say there's never. At least with me, as I got older, like I personally don't really have any hard feelings about any of it. It's just kind of like I'm on my path, they're on their path, and
Life happens.
yeah.
It's life. It's the way it goes. It's um do you have like when you hear friend, like who is the first person you think of? Like do you have that one
Don't put me
friend?
on the spot like that.
I have my answer.
That's crazy. Yeah, but I have.
Okay, I guess the better way is like the older friend, like the longest friend.
Okay, because I was
Like,
gonna say, long as like there's still quality people,
oh, well, yeah, yeah.
like
But
if
like,
stuff happens, there's always like my go-to people that I'm like, I'm telling them this. And I will literally like copy and paste the text like back to back to back to back to back because I'm like, y'all all about to find out what happened. But
I mean,
well,
yeah, I
obviously,
guess my
yeah,
question would
like
be like that longest friend. Like, okay, I'll go. My girl Brittany. Shout out to Brittany. We've been best friends since first grade. And even though like we live probably about 3.5 hours away from each other now, she's my go-to. Like I know if we don't talk or text for 2 to 3 months, I can call her and it's like we never lost track. Like who is that friend for you?
just so many. Okay, if we're
Miss
talking about
Popularity.
if yeah, don't tell no one. Um if we're talking about like distance and length of friendship, obviously it's gonna be Juliana. Like Juliana is like we've been friends since I was 3,
Yeah.
like since we started pre-K together. And for reference, y'all, I'm 29 now. So
We
that's
all
like
know I just turned 32 because Caitlin threw it out there last week.
yes, yeah. And I got you like the best gift ever.
She did. We're not going to talk about it live.
But it was the best. But yeah, so we grew up together, and what I really like about our friendship, and we've talked about this too, is like we've kind of had like those. I wouldn't necessarily say like those ups and downs, but those
Mm,
periods of like, yeah, we didn't really talk a lot. Then we talked a whole bunch. Even when we were younger, like we went to, yes, like we ended up going to high school together, but there was like that period of not going to middle school together.
yeah, that Brittany and I had
So
the same thing, and it was like heartbreaking. But then when you reunite in high school,
yeah,
it's like nothing. No time was. You weren't separated at all.
right. And then like we went away for college, and we still like communicated, and obviously like what was it in 20 at the end of college. Yeah, it was at the very end of college. I went to Chicago where she was and all that stuff. So like we still she is definitely the person that one of the people that I will go to and for like everything. And I definitely know that I can just reach out and be like, "Hey, like this is what's going on. Do you have a second?" or anything like that. And similarly, like there could be months where we don't like actively talk. We might
Hmm.
just send reels to each other on Instagram or like send random text messages or anything like that. But then when we do pick up, it's literally like we didn't miss a beat and we're just picking up the same thing. And what I really shout out to Juliana because one thing that
We all love Juliana.
yeah
Our whole family loves Juliana, and same with Brittany though. Like our
yeah
families just took them in. They're adopted
um
sisters at this point.
one thing I really loved about Juliana, and I told her this too, is like growing up, she really helped me to also have like an imagination. And even today as an adult, like I still think it's important for us to have imagination and to have also like safe people that you can share these like audacious thoughts with, like be like, oh my God, imagine like if a dragon came in here and started blowing smoke everywhere or like fire. Like, and it's nice to have a friend just like piggyback off that. Be like, oh my God, yo, that would be crazy. Instead of saying like that would never happen,
Yeah.
So it's just obviously that's a really out there thought process, but it's just like something that it's just a safe space, you can share these feelings with. And
It's
as
like your
mentioned, she's
safety
just
person,
yeah, and I have
besides me.
yeah. That's true. You honestly are my best friend. So,
It only took us 28,
28 years. No,
31
I'm just
years
kidding.
to notice it.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was like 26 years.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, guys. We'll get to
Um,
that one of these episodes as well.
but no, I mean, I can shout out everybody. I hope people don't feel like mad about me shouting out. But I mean, here in where I stay, I mean, I have, Brie, and I've gotten so close with her, and she's one of my absolutely closest friends, and I will go to her with anything. And similarly, I know I have a safe space with her and my friend Kayla.
shouting out all. I
I
know.
know
The
now I
problem
have to. I was like, I
is,
have to shout out everybody here.
the problem
Um,
is like there's,
Ali Jerica. I have to like shout out everybody on this page.
but there's. I almost feel like there's different forms of friends. Like Brittany and Juliana to us are the first who have stayed like
Yeah,
that constant through the longest part of our life. And
yeah,
then there's like I have my friend Kate who's like my mom friend. Like we became
yeah.
friends a little before we both had kids, but like she became my mom friend. And then you have your friends that you have met in Florida and Carolina and like I feel like they're all friends but they're just from different stages.
Oh, 100%. You're absolutely right. Like, all the friends outside of Juliana, like they're all here in North Carolina, and you're 100% right. Like my quote unquote Florida friends that I got are it's the same. You know, I have like my two friends from school. Um,
Yeah, if you guys are listening to this, I'm really sorry about the weather you guys have been having. Sharing
I
it from the upstate New
Well,
York.
they're not even in Florida no more
Ugh,
from school. They both moved. They both moved. Um, I love them so much. And in all honesty, I'm not sure how they would feel with names on. So like I love y'all so much and y'all know who you are. But what I like about them is when I love everybody. But they one in just school. It was like they were those people in school and like it was so important to have like like-minded people or similar-minded people, especially in just a high stress environment, like going to school, work, and all this stuff. It's like it's very stressful. So like to have those same folks there, and yeah, and similarly, my mom friend Evie, I love her tremendously. We work together, and in Miami, and my friend Marcy, who's also in Miami. I have, it's so funny. Like one of the first podcasts, I was like, I don't got friends, but I obviously said, don't come at me because I have a solid group of friends, and yeah, I can like count them on like two hands, and those are I know like. I know Megan just put like up like one hand for her, but it's interesting because it's really nice though because I know like if I was to go to any of these people, like it would just be a safe space and it would be a space where I can like share what's happening and there would be no judgment. There would be a time where they would just be able to like support me or guide me through something. But one thing I really like too is that as I've gotten older, obviously we have boundaries like we try to, right? Like we try to also have boundaries, and I think it's okay to have boundaries with family, friends, relationships, whatever that might be. And one thing that I try to kind of make, especially if it's like going to be like something heavy, like if I had reached out and like to talk about mom, for example, and I'm like, this is a really heavy topic, like it's grief, it's a lot, it's heavy, like I would first say like, hey, like I'm about to vent a lot, like are you in a good place right now to feel like to hear this, because it's also respecting their space and knowing that one, not everybody wants to hear about like your dead mom, but two, like but two, knowing that people are going through their own stuff too, regardless if they talk to you or not. Like there's moments where I haven't told my friends stuff and then I finally did. And yeah, so it's just nice too cuz like that set group of people will understand that and respect that, and also like stand up for themselves and respect themselves and be like, hey, like Caitlin, like this is my boundary, or so it's just like really having that group that's one, not afraid to do that with you, and also to reciprocate that as well, like with your boundaries. So
the friends I feel like that you can have boundaries like that with have they are the friends that have become family. Like they are
yeah,
so much more than like what you think a typical friend would be. And like I have a neighbor, shout out to Diana. She has become like so much more than a friend. And the last couple years for both of us have sucked. And so, even though different events and circumstances, I have that person right down the street who I can be like, hey, can you talk? Or hey, can you go for a walk? I need to get out of my house. And she'll be honest with me and she'll be like, nope, can't right now, but I'll see you tonight. Like, it's nice to have those people that you can feel safe with, to talk to laugh with, to cry with. Um, and one of the things I was thinking about while you were talking about boundaries was texting a friend and being like, hey, can you talk right now? Or are you in a good spot? Yeah, I don't do that with you. I just,
If we gonna cry, we gonna cry together.
I, I'm, I'm not even gonna lie. I will look at your location and make sure you're home. Like, I'm not gonna call you while you're at work or at a fitness class. Like, I look at your location. I'm like, oh, she's home. This bitch can talk. Like,
Mhm.
okay, here's my problem. And then I'll be
That's
like,
what she did today, guys. Not what this is my problem, but she called me literally. I had just parked at my place. And next thing you know, I'm getting a call and she's like, I called you because you were home. I'm like, I just got here. Like,
I didn't
I
know
haven't
that.
even walked through the door.
The location doesn't tell me how long you've been there.
It should. Actually, it should. Because what happens if something happens and you're like, you have to call up the officers and be like, hey, yeah, no, I have her location. She's been here. Okay, well, she's been at home. Yes, but she's been at home for the last 47 hours and she's supposed to be at work. That's brilliant.
It is. It really is. I would know that
Dang,
if you were.
don't take this, y'all. We need to patent this. This is get Apple.
I would understand and
Oh my
notice if
gosh.
you were moving for 47 hours. I'm just going to let you
Yes.
know.
And speaking of friends, I send my location is shared with all of my friends. I promise you. I promise, and you and dad. I don't play games. I'm like,
Mm.
listen, I am not playing games with y'all and this is where I'm at. So, and I have everyone seeing my location cuz I'm like, out of everybody, one of y'all are going to find me. I know. And if we put all brains together,
Well, sisterly, but also friendship, talking about location. Yeah, Caitlin went on a date not that long ago, shared her location with me, and I thought she was in a stream.
oh,
Just gonna throw that out there. I
um,
thought my sister was in a stream. The location
mm-hmm,
was a little bit off,
mm-hmm.
but
And also bushes.
and bushes, but
Yeah.
this is true friendship.
And
I called her, and if she didn't answer, I don't know what my next step would have been. But
in
I
both
called.
situations she did a call and I answered.
Like,
And
I know you're supposed to be on a date, but according to
yeah.
Apple, you're in a stream.
Yeah. And you know what? It didn't work out with him. So obviously you could have saved me from
Yeah.
something bad. Like maybe he was
Apple
like,
location services, thank you.
yeah, maybe he was like, "Oh no, her sister's too."
Mhm.
she's she's putting a damper on my intentions here.
It's a package
Um,
deal, just so all you guys here.
but um, but yeah.
I
So
know
oh my
where my
God.
sister is at all times.
Yeah, like honestly, everybody has my location. So true friendship, family. That's what we need, right? um But yeah, I mean, going uh, back to those boundaries too. I like too that I think in like true friendships and like those like this is your inner circle. You mentioned like, oh, there's people that you're like, yes, they're friends, but like low key also family because you're like, this is my ride or die. I'm getting them, I'm helping them, I'm whatever. But also those are the people that when it comes to boundaries too. There's like a little fine line where they'll be like, I'm gonna tell y'all what it is, and like the honesty of it, and they're like,
Yeah.
this is what I feel and what I see is happening, and this is how it's sounding or seeming or whatever the case might be, or like pulling me back and be like, Caitlin, honestly, you're a
Yep.
little bit, acting wild right now, but I like it too because so many of my friends, if I'm like, listen, like this is what I'm going through right now, so many of my friends will also be like, do you want me to listen or would you like
To be left alone.
no, like well that too, but like advice.
Yeah.
Like, am I just here to listen and like provide just your support, or do you want like advice? And it's nice too when people say that because yeah, in moments like that, you're like, I'm just telling you this, now leave me alone. Like I'm just telling you this because this is where I'm at. But then there's those moments where like I'm telling you this because I'm hurt and or going through this or I'm having a crisis or I need strategizing for something in my life. I don't know, So it's nice to have those people to say like what are you looking for when you're telling me this? And it's also nice to have that moment of like clarity to some extent where they're seeing it from the outside looking in and they're like, you need to like reel it back and take another look at this. So I
You're good
think
at
those.
that.
Thank you.
I was being sarcastic. It's annoying.
Oh, for everyone else, for my own life, I'm in shambles. No, but I don't. But it's always easy, when you're not the person going through it, right?
Yeah.
So it's always easier to be like, well, if we take a step back and look at this from a different angle, blah blah blah, and then you're like, bitch, I'm just trying to tell you what I'm going through. Like, well, we should have
Nobody
established
asked
that.
your opinion.
Right, like we should have established that. Um,
That should be the
but
first thing you tell your friends when you are going to give advice. I don't do it, but maybe other people should.
you don't give advice?
No, like the first thing you should say to a friend is yay or nay on the advice. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
I even start venting, I want your advice or I don't want your advice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Since we're just going to be blunt about it.
Yeah. And there's also friends that I know would like be there for me and support me. But I might not like tell everything to or
Yeah.
talk to all the time or like, but there's like definitely friends that I still have so much love for and I will be there for them in a drop of a hat too. So I just think, yeah, like as we age, our friendships just become a bit more dynamic, because we're seeing also the people who like they've written it out for us in different chapters of our lives, but then also they see us now. Like, I mean, we can still form friendships now. I have in the past year. And they see you with what you do bring to the table and what you have been through and who you are now because of it and all this stuff. And they still accept you and they still love you for it. And I think friendships are really magical for lack of
No,
better
that's a good
term.
word.
Because I just think there's just so much that goes into a friendship and it's so yeah, it just honestly it's magical, right? Like there's just so much that can come of it and there's so much that you learn from it and so much growth in it too. And I mean, even for the people that I wouldn't consider friends with anymore or whatever, I there's
At
really
some
not.
point, you had a connection. There was some kind of like
Yeah.
magic, as you were saying. Like,
Yeah. And there's like very, very, very few people that I will look back at and be like, wow, like they really did a bad one on me. Like there's very few people that I was like friends with that will look back and be like, ooh, we might have made a mistake here. But for the most part, I still have love for those people and I hope that they're doing well and they're thriving and succeeding and doing what they want in their life and they're happy. And I think that ultimately,
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like this podcast in general, we just want everyone to get along and be happy. Like,
girl, speak for yourself. No, just kidding.
no, I mean, like, friends, former coworkers, like, you don't want anyone, like, you don't want ill will towards anybody. It's just like us. Like, we want people to be happy, whether that includes us in their circle or not, or
Yeah.
square, or whatever shape you might be making out of your friends, as Caitlin put me on the spot earlier.
Um, no, 100%. 100%. Um,
One of the things that I was thinking about while you were talking was when you said friendships are magical, like I was kind of thinking of us. Like I know we were born sisters, but with friends you got to put in the work. And it took us a few years while we put in the work and like see how we're so much closer than we were growing up. And I feel like that's because we
our mom died.
cared more about
What?
it. What?
You said, and that's because when I said our mom died.
That
No, but we do care more about it. Continue.
No, we care more about putting in the effort to stay
Yes.
close.
Yeah.
Um,
So how do you, like, if you were to, like, say what are big,
like characteristics that I look for in a friend.
yeah, like for friends, I wanted to say that, but it's kind of like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
like
like kind of put you up on
dating
like a
site.
friend site. Yeah, like a friend finding site. But yeah, like
Exactly.
what are some big characteristics for you then to have to like keep people in that circle and that are important to you?
Um, I would say probably supportive, like we've talked about, like the advice, the listening, just kind of being there when you need a shoulder to cry on, or laugh with. And I don't know, like I don't want to say something like, "Oh, they're always here for me," because people have lives too, and they can't always be. You can't always be there for everybody. You spread yourself way too thin. I've done it. It sucks. Um, I don't. I guess now as a mom, it would be that my friends care about my children as well. I know it's
No, it's not.
dumb,
Sorry.
but not dumb.
No, I just thought of the scene from Insecure when she tosses the baby in the trash. Fuck them kids.
Oh my gosh.
I can't take nothing serious. That's crazy.
Anyway, I would no. I would say now, like my friends, my close friends, all love and care about my kids,
Of course, yeah.
and I know like God forbid something happened to Sean and I, there would be so much support and love. And that's, I guess that would be a big one for me. Like, I don't want a friend hanging out with me that doesn't like my kids. That would be awkward for them.
Dang. That's us.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
just kidding. I'm like, dang, that's me.
You
Just kidding.
love your niece and nephew.
I do. I'm obsessed. Yeah. There's little moments that I'm like, wow, I could do this. And they show me their true colors. And I'm like,
Hey, Caitlin, stop playing with the mic.
oh, sorry.
Making some static.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, y'all. Um,
See, unscripted. I'm not even going to edit that out. What about you? What characteristics?
mm, let me think.
Okay, well, dead air.
Dead
Um,
air. Yes, let me think. I honestly, same thing, sort of. It's kind of like they're just your people, right? Like you know that you have a safe space with them. They show up for you, and it, of course, same thing. It doesn't have to be all the time. Like people have their lives, right? But they'll try to carve out that time for you. And we're adults. We have schedules. Like same with me. Like when I'm texting people, be like, hey, let's FaceTime, let's catch up or whatever. It's always like, this is my schedule, this is when I work, this is when I don't work. Like it happens. But they show up for you. And I think too is like, who are those people going to be that are there for you during like those hardest chapters of your life? You know, who are those people that are going to be by you when you can't even get up and out of bed in the morning? Like, who are those people that are going to be checking in on you?
Our
Similarly,
father.
similarly, I think it's important to like, I feel like sometimes people, not anyone in my circle right now, but like as we were growing up and like earlier 20s, people people would just be around you just to try to bring you down, you know, like just to just be that negative like aura, I guess, in your life. And it's just kind of like, what is this? You know? So kind of having or like if something bad happens to you, or I don't know, if like people were mean to you, it's kind of like they feed off that, right? They were just like, oh, well, do you think it's because of, I don't know, something you wore? I don't know, something weird like that, right? So it's just also having those people who, one, if something happens, they're ready to, you know, nuck and buck. And what's that song? What's that song? You know what song I'm talking
I do
about?
know what song
We
you're talking. You're not
rather,
gonna catch me
yeah.
singing on the air.
But like to some extent, I don't believe in fighting, y'all. Just like FYI, but I will if I have to. Like if it's a fight or flight situation. But like
You
other
hurt my
people,
sister. I'm coming for you. Anybody who wants to
um,
listen.
but really, those like that's the thing. Like people who will be like there, like ready, but also seemingly people that don't like rejoice. People don't do that. Like really, but people who aren't just going to rejoice in something bad happening to you, right? But they're going to be like, okay, well, let's figure this out. And then I really think it's huge when, like, I have always felt so touched when I go and meet people and suddenly they're like, no, I've already heard so much about you, you know, and like, it's really means a lot because those friends aren't just saying to your face, oh, you're amazing, you know, but
Yeah.
they're going and they're telling people, like, oh my gosh, yo, my friend Caitlin, top tier, right? Like, that's kind of that's kind of, but it's also saying like these people aren't being fake to your face and then
Yeah.
turn around and say something else. Like they got you and they're gonna hold it down for you. And one last bit too is I really like I think really great quality friends are the ones that are going to find joy in what you find joy into. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, it doesn't have to be like, I love doing this and you love doing that. And like,
Yeah, like you don't have to have the same hobbies,
yes, but it's like, wow, I
but
see how much,
seeing them smile makes you smile.
exactly. Like, I see how much happiness that doing this brings you. And I support that 100%. Unless it's, you know, effing around with the wrong person, then they were like, we don't support this. But no, I think that's like those are big characteristics, and I think I learned that a lot this past year too, with like everything that I've been through. And like I was at the complete bottom, and like I still had like all the people I just mentioned in this, and then of course others as well, but like people reaching out and just being like, are you good? You know, and just like, you know, can I get you anything? Can I bring you anything? And just trying to get me out and doing stuff and knowing that like I needed it, and also respected my space when I needed that too. And like not harping on that and like knowing that I'm going through this process. But yeah, so those are just some good characteristics, but honestly, at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to continue to meet new people, and I might meet new really good friends. And
Erin has her first birthday party from with one of her school friends, and I'm nervous about meeting a bunch of new moms or dads or parents or grandparents, whoever comes to the party.
why?
Because I am very shy. Like I have to get to know somebody. Like this podcast is way out of my comfort zone, but that's because I'm talking to your face and I see you every day.
Over
Um,
FaceTime.
over FaceTime. I don't know. I'm a little anxious about it. A lot of little kids, a lot of people I don't know. But we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll have to circle back and
Yeah.
find out how it went.
I feel, yeah, we have to talk about that too because I feel like I'm not a mom, but I feel like that's also different, especially if like people already have their like family cliques, you
Yeah.
know, so like kids who, I mean, I went and dropped her off to school with you some days, and like the moms that know each other are already like boom, like they're chatting it up, and so yeah, I can understand where that can feel a little nerve wracking, but honestly, like you make good conversation and you have, and I think the easiest way to bond is honestly over like kids too, to be like, oh wow, unless like she does something crazy, like whose little girl just pushed that guy off the sled? I have no clue. Whose little girl is that?
Um, yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll have to circle back. We'll put it in my notes. We'll touch back next week.
Yeah,
Um,
no, we're gonna have to see how that. Wait, when is it?
Sunday. Oh no, we got to record before that.
Oh, hold up. Who is having a birthday party for kids on a Sunday?
I don't know, but there's Disney princesses coming, so she's gonna be real
Oh,
excited.
oh, she will be.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. But that's how I'm gonna break the ice. Like, oh, my sister and I have a podcast. You should download it.
Don't do that.
No,
They were like,
this
all
bitch
right,
is
this girl,
crazy.
right? She's reaching.
Um,
Desperate.
before we finish up this podcast, I want to mention one friend that has been great, kind of to our whole family. Like friend of the family, Tom and Darlene. We love you guys. Uh, you're
We
frozen,
do.
Caitlin. I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
We
Sorry, guys.
do.
Technical difficulties.
We do love Tom and Dar.
I hope they listen to this. This would be very awkward. They've kind of been our rocks through some tough times, even in high school. So we just want to shout out them. The other shout out goes to our friend Danny, living it up in Cali. We love you. Danny is one of the friends that came to visit a couple months ago, and we're renovating our house. And he just picked up tools and started helping. Started hanging sheetrock, and like he was like, "All right, come on, guys, let's get you a house." Like no questions asked. We tried to buy him dinner. He was like, "No, we did anyway." But he's just one of those friends that have become family. Like no questions asked. I'm there for you. We love
Danny
Danny.
is it's just my sister and I, and Danny is basically our father's son that he
Yeah,
never had.
he adopted brother.
So
He's been great.
our dad loves him. But
We
yeah,
need
we're
to wrap
very
this up. This is our
yes,
longest
yeah.
podcast.
We just have like so many friends that we love and adore. But we are very grateful and fortunate for the people in our corner. And if you're listening to this and you have some special friends in your corner, you know, and maybe you haven't reached out to them in a while, send them a little message. Be like, yo, I miss you. I miss you. How you doing? I love you. I support you. I'm here for you. And I can't
Yeah,
wait to keep see you
that's
thriving.
it's like your homework for this week, listeners.
Yeah,
Let a friend know you're there for them.
that's right.
It
And let
doesn't
them
matter
know
what they're
that
going
you're
through, what you're going through. Just send a text, a voice memo, a call. Hey, it's been a while. I just want to know I'm in your corner. You know what I mean?
yeah. We support you, or I support you. I appreciate you. I love you. And keep being great, right? All our friends are great. So, anyways, guys, well, as always, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate having you guys here with us, and we hope that this week is spectacular for you guys.
Have a great week.